Uh, so let's take a look at how things are going. Why don't you just pick up the sticks and show me your starting position. Okay, that's good that you're doing that. Okay, do that again for me. Now, I wish I could get my pad. I'm gonna have to figure this out. You know, as a traditional player, my pad is set up in a certain way, and I don't have a universal joint on this stand. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But all we're doing is we're letting the sticks hang as plumb to the ground as possible, recognizing that sure we have it in the first finger and thumb, but that the stick isn't running to the center of the hand, that the stick is running into that meaty part of the hand, just next to this bone. You can feel it. Go ahead and get in touch with that part of your hand. There's that bone right there. And it's just on the meaty part. Dick Wilson would sometimes grab your flesh and make a little spot, which is next to the bone. There's like a little spot in there. And so that's it for this technique. That's the grip. And so we're letting things hang, trying to let that stick dangle as plumb to the ground as possible. Just mentioned in mind. Wait for everything to relax. And then we just bring it up. Do it again for me. See, that's good. That's better. You notice that you want to do some of this, and when you came up, yeah, and when you just the little things that tell me kind of what your body likes to feel for whatever reason. And when you came up, it took you a minute to let your arms fall into your side. But last time you came up, your arms are kind of by your side from here all the way up, right? So all you're going to do is bring the sticks into position. And why would anything move, right? We're trying to capture as much of this feeling in this position as possible. Okay. Now, when you look at my grip, just don't change a thing with your grip. Just look at my grip. What do you see that's different?
There's less of a gap between your thumb and your index finger.
Because this is this grip. See, you're doing something like this.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is or where that came from. But as you continue on in this technique, at some point that'll start to feel just foreign, like funny, weird. It won't feel right because it won't give you what you're going to need with this technique. Right. See, you have to hold on to the stick.
Yeah.
To some extent, right? Now, really, what's important is that grip is much better now. Like, that's a big deal. And what we're trying not to do is squeeze with the back fingers. The stick is essentially just laying in the hand. You'll notice that the stick, let go of all of your fingers for a minute. Okay, so you have to hold on. You have this somewhat more narrow channel than you had. What was Freddie Gruber would call this the sound chamber, which it is. Or once you create that chamber, it is. Now, so we need this position. Your arm has already come out a little bit. Why? It's just hanging here. Nothing. Finger and thumb. Now, we could, feasibly play that way. With this technique, though, we're introducing the middle finger. Now you see how the stick is resting or counterbalancing against the palm. right? So really what's holding the stick is the counterbalancing of the palm. First finger, look, you can even let go. Now the palm, counterbalancing, and just the first finger and thumb are holding the stick. You've got the stick. Now we're going to introduce the middle finger. And the fourth and fifth, you see, because the palm is supporting the stick, and you've got it, you don't really need to do much with them. They just kind of tuck underneath. They're just hanging out. See, you don't need them. Look, you can take them off. You don't need them in the way you think you do. But we don't want to hold them off uncomfortably. They just can wrap around. So that's our concept. We have the grip. Fourth and fifth, just hang out. Okay, move with the hand. Okay, now from there, go ahead and make a strike for me. Now, a little rattly. Do you have your snares on?
Yeah.
Why don't you turn them off? And do that again. Don't hold your arm out. If I suddenly see it, and don't pull it in either. We just want to leave it alone. That's the Richard Martinez, we're doing nothing. Yeah, that's the problem. Good. See, all those little things have to combine so you can get that. Now look where you're stopping every time. Look where you're stopping. Up. Can you turn faster? Tap, 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 tap. See, you stopped a little high. Why? That's another big deal. If you're doing that, you're missing the technique, literally. So you learn how to come back to here every time, to here. Okay. So let's see it in the other one. Better. Let's see it in the other hand. It's going to be the same gig. Arm is going to hang. Oh, you lost your grip. Now why? How can we fix that? How can we make an impression that is okay? Just hold it with the first finger and thumb and come up. Because you could play that way. Seems like it'd be uncomfortable to play loud because then I'd find myself really squeezing. But now in a sense, the first finger and thumb, they're, well, because you seem to have a bit of a confusion about the grip, let me ask you to define, to help you remember. Have you defined what is the function, for instance, or describe to me where the fulcrum is in this technique, palm down?
Fulcrum is in between contact between your thumb and your first finger. Okay.
Already we have discovered an erroneous zone, and that is that this was the big deal, the middle finger. It acts like a little cradle. You need to go back and read the articles that I co-authored with Richard Martinez on the Spivak-Wilson technique in Modern Drummer. And we talked about that in the first article because you start with the most fundamental aspect of this technique, the grip, right? And the arms and the starting position. So go ahead and just hold it with your middle finger for a minute. Try that. I need you to be over the surface, parallel beat to butt end. That's the floor. You lost the floor. See, the floor is such a big deal. There's just these certain essentials that you need to remember. And if you don't, and you just think that they're seemingly too simple to be important, then you're missing it. Right? The idea is to the simplicity and analyze what that means. Right. So you see, you can play you could play as well. Not very loud, with not very much control, but you can also play here. Just come up a little. It's hard to balance it there. Now, your first finger and thumb are off, and thumb are off. Okay, so that's the fulcrum. Do that in your right hand. Take your first finger and thumb off so they look a little more like mine. That was Carlos Vega. Carlos, these are metaphors. So they may not be helpful. They didn't help me with the technique, but maybe they'll help you. Carlos Vega would say it's like, because you have the kind of mind that's interested in the way things work in terms of machinery and the way things are put together. So Carlos thought of it as the calipers coming in on a disc brake, coming in as to evenly with pressure coming in on either side. Just if you take them off, go ahead and take them off. My first finger is just, I'm really opening everything up, but not point straightening it. I'm keeping a position. Yeah, and you bring it in. It should be more closed here. You see, it shouldn't be like this. If you're coming into the crack of the first finger and the pad of the thumb, it should look more like this. There, maybe that's another problem. It's the first knuckle of the middle finger and the pad of the thumb. Carlos apparently used to do this. He'd squeeze really tight with the thumb, I guess putting pressure across on the first finger, and he'd squeeze the right. He'd squeeze dramatically to create this little crease in his thumb, this little channel. Right? It's created a little crease. If you push hard enough, it leaves a little dent for a minute until it rebounds back. See, he creates that crease. You want it in that crease, and then the first finger is like that, and you're over the surface, right? Okay, so we have the fulcrum, which is the middle finger, with your palm down. Now, don't go tossing, just bring it up nice and smoothly. It just rests in there all the time. See how it moves? Just do this, don't play. Just do this. There you go. There you go. Now, stop for a minute. Put the first finger and thumb on properly. They're what we call the guide. You don't need the back, fourth, and fifth because you've got the palm countervailing, right? I mean, you can have them hanging. I don't want you poking your baby thing. Just let them hang out, but they're not holding the stick. You've got the stick without them. So it really is a three-finger grip. And then again, you're just going to do this. Get to practice my matched and left. Go ahead and do this. Lift it up and down, nice and smooth. See, as fast as you go up is as fast as you come down, kind of thing. Nice and smooth. It's a machine. Just does that over and over. You get to practice. I'm more used to doing it this way. Well, I'm used to doing it this way. Yeah. But we're just looking to turn. Now, can you put them together? Now, I want you to notice that if I make a strike, nothing changes. Why does your space get really big? After you strike, you change. Maybe this will help to reinforce it. Dick used to, we'd be watching at a live gig, and we'd be watching someone, obviously, that hadn't studied with him, and he was very critical. He said, look, every time he makes a backbeat, he has to find his grip again. every time. Wow, weird, huh? That's not what we're doing. We're not searching for the grip while we're not playing. While we're not playing, what does it feel like? Like that. You didn't memorize that feeling. You forgot it. This is the most important feeling you can have. Doing nothing. Doing nothing. Right? So if you don't feel that feeling, shoulders, how relaxed is the elbow joint? Wrists have to hold the stick up. Countervailing on the, seems like a lot, but after a while, a child could do it. It's resting on the palms. Everything's relaxed. Probably shouldn't have lifted it up. I just went to show you, because, but you see it is. It's on the palms. And so all we're doing, see, if I go like this and I don't play, do that. Nothing changes. Don't open up your space. Remember, Carlos is making an impression in his thumb in the right. Make sure you're holding up there a little bit. Yeah, you got to hold, because that's one of the primary holders. We only have 3 fingers. Thumb, first finger, middle finger, and in a sense it's countervailing against the palm, but that's not a finger, but okay. So we need to have the first finger and thumb, and that's how it's going to stay. Firm, comfortable, and constant. Don't open it up. Don't let go. You have to hold on a little bit. Not much, just enough. That's all. That's it forever. That's, well, really, that's it. So if we just do this, what happens? Make sure you come all the way down. Yep. See, you're at the floor, aren't you, right now? Why's your thumb changed? You weren't even playing and your thumb changed. You forgot your grip. You have to maintain the grip. Then everything becomes easy. If you can just get this grip and leave your arms alone, the whole thing becomes, but coming down, don't let go of your thumb. It has to hold all the way. It's going to go boom or zonk or plop, really, on the surface. You need to be holding there to manage whatever recoil occurs, right? You're going to feel, that's where you're going to feel impact. You're going to feel impact here, right? Get to the surface. That's it. See, and all you feel is the impact, mostly in the first finger, thumb, and middle finger, right? Do it again in the left. There, feel, just stop. You feel the impact in your hand? Memorize what it feels like? It seems as though the impact is kind of spread out between the 3 fingers. If you let go of your first finger and thumb, I don't know where it's going to go. Something weird is it's going to be some other technique. Try it again and memorize the feeling of coming to the surface. Stop. Stop. Does it feel like when you started?
Almost.
It looks like it looks pretty good. Nothing has changed. You didn't do anything. But look at your right. Just because you got caught up listening to me. No, you let go of your right. Your thumb, you have to hold with it. It's going to have to feel that impact when you get to the surface, as the middle finger will. Yeah, it's got to hold and feel a certain impact with a certain pressure. Don't let go of it up there. You're not squeezing it to death. As long as it's touching the middle finger and the crack, first knuckle of the middle finger, and you have a firm, constant, comfortable grip up front. Can't let go of that. And I want you to feel that impact. Go ahead and turn and feel the impact in those 3 fingers. Don't let go of your thumb. More similar to your right now, to your left now. They feel more similar now? You should feel the impact spread out somewhat equally between the 3 fingers, it seems to me. Right. Now, until you learn to do that, and your left is better than your right. You're left-handed, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, for whatever reason, sometimes it works the other way. The person's quote-unquote weaker hand is more available for suggestion. In your case, everybody's different. But notice, I think that your left Your sound chamber in your left is a little smaller than in your right, and I like your left better. You need to know. The other way you can close that space up just a little is by bending the middle knuckle of the first finger. Go ahead and do that. Just a little. Yeah, see, it brings it, and it brings the tip of the first finger in just, there you go. Right? Memorize that now. Play a nice big stroke so it comes down with some force. Remember, in this technique, in the right. Oh, that's what you need to figure out. See, your left doesn't do anything. It just lands and it's staying in the same position. Just play your right for a minute. Just your right. And when you land, no, just your right. And when you land, don't let go. Stop. After you make a strike, I want you to stop. And teach yourself. Is it right? Look down at it. How's your strike look? There it is. Now, keep it there. Make one strike and see if it's the same. Go. There, look down. Is it the same? Look at it. Forcing you to look at it. Pretty good. Do it again. Look down at every time. Make a note and then stop. And feel the impact. Memorize how it looks and how it feels in your hand. That's how it feels. Nice and still. How solid that is. You're not squeezing it to death. You're not letting go. You're not squeezing it to death. You're just doing nothing. You're just maintaining this grip. That's it. But you have to maintain it. Do it again. Good. Better. Only come up a half an inch. There. Nice, quiet, lovely. And it's here. It was zunk. Even though it was quiet. Nothing happened. It's just sitting in your hand. You're not clogging up the stick with the back fingers. Muting the stick. And the wrist is the primary fulcrum at this point. We're not using this fulcrum right now. We're not using the fulcrum in the hand. We're only turning the lever arm. And we're using this fulcrum. And remember, muscles can only pull. So the muscles here in front of the elbow pull up, and then the muscles underneath in front of the elbow pull down. And it's a smooth, even turn. Up, down, up, down. Don't let go when you're doing it. And that's, if you could get that, it'll all go really quickly. So until you get that, getting into rebounds, until you can actually maintain this grip over and over every time. Then you can get into some rebounds. Then you can get into doubles and rebounds. But until you can do that, you're wasting you will promote bad habits. So, how old are you again? Remind me.
15.
Okay, so the 15-year-old going on 75 is wise enough to recognize that you don't rush this thing. You really make a big deal out of what I just showed you, then everything else will start to take care of itself, right? You didn't know where the fulcrum was. Not only that, you didn't know that you weren't using it. This is the fulcrum, in the hand, I should say. This is the fulcrum that we use when we're turning for a single note. And although the fulcrum is in place and ready to use, see, it's there. Once you get that, doubles will come easy. You won't have to worry about it. Okay? So, let me take a look at one more thing, because this, again, I don't want to get into the fulcrum in the hand with you right now. That will not help you with where you are. And by the way, you look good, right? If you remember that, a Murray Spivak student might say, hey, did you study with Murray? I can always recognize the Spivak student, right? It won't take long before that technique becomes part of you, okay? But you have to get this feeling into your body. It's not about playing fast. It's not about getting up to whatever speed you are trying to get to with rebound doubles and roll strokes. I would keep it very simple right now. Don't let go when you're right. Your right wants to let go. Don't let go. You know, your right is going out for a coffee break, and the left is like, no, I'll stay here and take care of the shop. You go out for the coffee, and your right hand, it's okay. But your right hand has to pay attention because you're left-centric, which is unusual, right? It's usually the other way around. That'll be helpful. You playing on a right-handed kit? Okay. So
Sorry. Left-handed, yeah.
Playing a left-handed kit.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't matter, except when you go to sit in on a gig and you have to take the time to rearrange the drums.
Yeah.
If the guy doesn't mind, and usually they don't. Okay, so now I want you just simply to show me what an upstroke to a downstroke looks like. Which, by the way, before you show me, can you tell me what that, out of the 7 basic strokes that we're studying in this technique, which one is this that I've just asked you? Upstroke to downstroke. What did Murray call that?
I'm not quite sure if I remember. Might be getting it confused with the single strokes.
You weren't confused at all. That's what it is. It's called the single stroke. This was so important to Murray that he decided to name it, although there's 2 parts to it, he named it one stroke, the single stroke. So that's where we make an up to a throw. Okay, now remember, if a regular wrist turn looks like that, see it just stops dead, then, and we know that this whole technique, at least according to Richard Martinez, and I'm pretty sure he's right, this whole thing is really just a wrist turn. Yeah, it took me a while to believe that as well. So it's like, it is? Really? See, this thing that I'm showing you is a really big deal. So you already lost your grip in the right. Come on. There. That's your gate. You need like a yellow stick-it on the top of your practice pad that says, monitor your right hand. Don't forget the right hand. Give it some attention. Right? So we're going to feel some of this motion in a throw, aren't we? If this is a wrist turn, then we need to be able to feel. See, can you see the wrist turn? So, get your right hand together. Right, I'm monitoring that for you. But when I'm gone, you're in charge. You're going to have to do it. All right, so your grip looks good, not bad, pretty good angle. Let's just look at the throw for a minute. Maybe we need to remove the upstroke. Now we're just working on a downstroke. Murray would call it a downstroke, Dick Wilson would call it a throw. Okay, so show me what that looks like. Show me the first part of it. Don't tap on the way up now. We're doing something different because I want to eliminate that part of it. I want to make it even more simple. Show that to me. See, that's all I'm moving. Watch. See how my arm's still essentially hanging by my side. Yours has already lost its place. So if you lose, see, this whole thing has to be perfect for everything to work. Okay, and you've already felt it, so you're not that far away, and you're only 15. So just stay calm, because you got this. Okay. All right. So remember how the arm feels. Let's get back to that, because this is the feeling we have to experience after a throw, not just a wrist turn, but after a throw. You have to come back to here. So just give me this part. You see, I'm not lifting my arm up. I'm just bending and trusting that it really will go up. You don't need to keep your stick on the surface. I want you to hold it there. Now come down. Let's try this. Let's try this experiment. This is a Richard Martinez thing. We're going up. See how I'm up? See how bent I am?
Yeah.
Yours doesn't look like that. Okay. Come away from the surface and give me what would be, I guess, a right. You're in the left, so you're going to give me a left profile. So, in other words, I want you to mimic the view that you're seeing, so that your thumb is facing towards the back wall. Okay, there you go. Now make sure that the stick isn't dipped down for starters, right? Let's find the floor again. Let's take the time to discover the floor. Good. Now put your finger on the tip of the stick. Get rid of the other stick in your hand so that you're not thinking about it at all. Okay, now you're dipped down again. See, that's the importance, that we really have to be at the floor. There's no fussing around. The floor is the floor. Once you decide, I mean, if you decide that for your body it's here, wherever you decide, you have to memorize it. Put your finger on the tip. Now, just bend, pronate forward. There, y'all, that's it. Just have to bend your look. Went up. There. Okay, now unbend it. It came back. Bend it. Just bending it. We're not lifting, we're not lifting. We're not lifting. We're just bending it. Murray would call that pronating. And you get this shape, almost like a V. See it? And then you're going to come back. All the way to parallel. You're not, feel the floor. Remember, this is the really important part of it. Okay? Go on up by bending. Pronating. There you go. Come on down. See, I don't think anything changed with your hand, essentially, right? Still a 3-finger grip. 4th and 5th are doing nothing, hanging out, right? And you're just moving in this direction, up and then down in the other direction. Yeah, that and that. And then you could get to here and you could just make a little tap. That's much better. There isn't all this, what you were doing when I don't know what you were doing. The arm, to start with, your arm really wasn't by your side. And then you kind of went outward a little, and it was like, that didn't look right. And that's because it didn't have this thing. It didn't, first of all, seem to have a recognition of the floor. Everything has to be about the floor. Right? That's our home plate. That's our resting place, you know. That's our sanctuary, really. Every time you play, you can count on it being there once you just recognize its importance and become friends with it. Okay, so here we go again. One more time. See, it's just bending, and the wrist goes up. Right? How much? Not that much. Doesn't have to. It could go up. Dick would go all the way up. Let's not blow this up right now. Let's just keep this simple, and then you can uncoil it. The wrist can go up, and then in a sense everything uncoils. Feel it? Subtle, isn't it? Okay, and then you can go up, and instead of just uncoiling, you can lift the bead up a little bit and make a throw and let it uncoil, and then you're back at the floor. Can you do that on the surface? It's good. If you can do that on the... Now, you remember, this is very meditative to get this right. First, we want to get the floor. We won't get anywhere if we don't have the floor. Good. Your grip looks right. The space looks correct, right? And then we've got this fixed point in the universe. Now, if you want, go ahead and put your finger here now. Does that help you? That's a guidepost. That's the fixed point in the universe that Richard Martinez talks about. Okay, we're going to just pronate, just bend, just bend. It worked before. Bend a little more. Bend, keep bending. There you go. Now come on down. Up, down, up, down. Now I'm going to just hip you to this. See, when we were only playing from the wrist, this is just hanging. It's not it's always hanging, but it isn't involved in the stroke. What I do when I do this, it just so subtly, because it's attached, everything's attached, it seems to become involved, and suddenly I feel as though the whole system is lengthened. Now it's not just from here to here, it's from here all the way up to here. Okay? But it's not this at all. It really is this bending thing. If you can just get that, everything works. It'll engage everything else properly. Okay, so if we were to go up and then down, we uncoil. See how loose the anti-cubical fossa is? This can't be tight. It's a hinge or another fulcrum. Up and down. Once you get good at this, it's almost as though you can feel where you're pumping water from a water pump, in a sense. It goes up and down, right? And it's attached. It's on a hinge of some sort. It won't go anywhere. So you can't do that. You want to get it to go up. After 100 strokes, you won't be doing this. You won't be doing like this. You'll just be going, oh yeah, I can get it. I can get all the water I need. This is the least motion I need. And then when we get to the top, I'm just going to lift it up and make a throw. Yeah, not bad. Come up just a little more. Don't be afraid to bend. Okay? And then come on down. Good. See, it just stopped dead. Earlier, much better. So you're moving less. Okay, just try it once in the right, because that's the stuff you need to be thinking about right now. See, we're not really using the fulcrum. We're not using the fulcrum in the hand. We're not playing rebounds. We're just making a motion. And leave, again, space in the right. Don't forget your space in the right. Okay. Take the stick out of your left for a minute. Go ahead and take the bead by the hand, so to speak. I mean, we don't want to place it on the surface. I'm really just putting my middle finger on the tip of it, really. And it's a 1/2 inch parallel, so you don't have your floor. So let's get the floor. This is your meditation. You lost your grip up front. It probably wasn't right down here. You have to be holding it here too. And you just bring it up so you don't have to do anything with it. Go ahead. Come on, close that space. Show me what it should look like. Remember the Carlos Vega groove. That seemed to help a little. There. That's more what it feels like. Now, we're just going to bend, pronate, try to leave everything alone, and come on down. So let it unravel. Just unravels. This is quite flat. Okay? This is flat. Can't come up too much or it'll roll forward. Not off to the side like yours. Mine's flat here. Let's just get the grip together, right in this position. Try to get this flat. But we don't want to be, nope, thumb. And what we don't want to be able to see is the corner of the thumbnail. You know what that thumb feels like? It feels good in your left. Your right to now your right has to copy your left. Cross lateral transference. Okay? Watch your thumb. You're fairly flat. I'm a little more, but that's okay. Okay? Now we're going to bend. Bend. Good. Good. Still fairly flat. And uncoil it. And don't lose your grip up front. See, I've maintained it. I don't let go at all. I've maintained it. Doesn't let go. There you go. And it's ready to make a big loud blow or a medium blow because it's there and it's going to feel that impact that we talked about. You'll feel it in the 3 fingers. And you're going to come down all the way to the floor. Feel the flex where it's going to end up after you lift it up this side and let it come back. Leave on a high note. Bye, everybody. It's been a pleasure seeing you. Wow, Tobyn's happening. Later, everyone. It's a blast. Good, man. That's what you work on.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Well, you're a pleasure to teach.
Yes, thank you.
Now, and be as helpful to yourself when you're teaching yourself, right? So that you've got to somehow step away from yourself, which is hard, which is why mirrors are helpful, because they give you that distance from yourself. So if you need to set up a mirror, that can help too. Okay? Canadian drummers, look out. Tobyn's up and coming. Good job, Tobyn.
Thank you very much again.
You're really welcome. I'll see you soon.